All right, let's take stock. Dow Jones Industrial Average closing down more than 45 points, though. The index is up about 7.5% for the year. Not so bad. S&P 500 falling 2.5 points so far in 2012, a gain of 11.5%. And the Nasdaq closing up just 1 point, but it is up 18% in 2012. Total volume, U.S. stocks traded a little bit more than 6 billion shares. Let's take a quick look at the U.S. bond market. The 10-year falling 2.29%. The long bond, the 30-year, 3.38%. Oil now back above $106, almost $107 a barrel. Energy shares helping drive U.S. stocks lower today. For the details, of course, let's go to Deborah Kostroun at the New York Stock Exchange. Deborah.
Thanks a lot, Pimm. Yeah, stocks were down just slightly, at least for the S&P. The Dow down about 44 points. But what we saw, the Nasdaq higher, energy shares falling. Remember that energy stocks are the biggest weight on the S&P. So when you have those energy shares lower, it's really difficult to see the market move higher. Baker Hughes, the big culprit today, and the biggest drag in the S&P after saying operating profit for the first quarter will be lower than expected. And that took down a lot of other energy stocks, even though crude oil itself was actually higher, settling over $107 a barrel after crude inventories dropping last week, Pimm.
Now, Deborah, existing home sales came out. They show that the housing market's stable, but nothing to cheer about.
Right. So home builders were a little bit mixed today after sales of previously owned homes dropped in February from January, but they're still near a two-year high. So there's a couple of different ways you can look at that data. Traders say that the housing situation, not a quick turnaround, but still Home Depot was the best performer in the Dow Jones Industrial Average in kind of a down market. Lowe's also a little bit higher to close out the day. And to take a check of where the S&P stands for the first quarter, the S&P actually up 11.5% for the first quarter as we closed out today's session, and the S&P set for its best first quarter performance since 1998. But of course, we still have until next Friday, until the end of March, to get through the first quarter. So, Pimm, a lot can happen between now and then. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Deborah Kostroun reporting from the New York Stock Exchange.